they're basically saying like it's you or the dog, and it's obviously the dog. Um, Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about my first day in California getting bit by a dog. So I will explain the story about how I got bit by a dog on my way to California on my first day here. It's been a year and a few days since I've moved here in the Bay Area. So I am going to talk about what exactly happened, how it happened, and yeah. I hope you guys keep watching because this story is quite good. Hey guys, so I'm watching back over this video and I realized although I was very aloof about it, it still is something that has caused me PTSD and emotional distress. So if this situation happens to you, please file a police report and also potentially sue the person who harmed you if applicable, because it does suck if you go through this situation. Anyway, continue watching. Alrighty, so it all started when I was driving here. So I drove from Connecticut to California in 7 days. Driving here was very, very, very tiring, and it took a lot of time and effort, and by like the 4th or 5th day, I wanted to be very much done with it. So I was super ready to find my place and move in. So the place I was moving into had a dog. I met my housemates back then from Facebook. So one of the Facebook groups to find housing. And yeah, it was all supposed to be fine and dandy. So then I get into the house and it was fine. I met the people that I was gonna live with. They seemed really chill. They were a cute little couple and they had a dog, but the dog was outside. So we were in the living room, and then they had their master bedroom, and then their bedroom led to the backyard. So their bedroom led to their backyard, and it was just where the dog was. So the dog was outside, kind of barking, kind of being a little angry, but honestly, it wasn't that angry or anything. It was just normal, just a dog barking when he heard people. So I thought nothing of it, honestly. Like I said, my aunt was there and my cousin was there, and my cousin is 10, just for reference. And yeah, we toured the apartment just to make sure. We looked at the contract. We signed the contract through like their iPad, and then they were going to email it to me, and I was like, great. And then I was going to leave to go with my aunt because she had a hotel in SF. They were like, okay, great, but before you go, I want you to meet Dora. Dora's their dog. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to meet the dog because, you know, I'm going to be living with this dog for however long I was going to stay there, which I didn't know it was month to month. So I could have left any time, and also I was their first tenant to live there. So then they opened their bedroom door, and the dog's already barking, but it's outside. And then the guy, he was holding the dog. He opened the door, he's holding the dog, and then the dog jumps on me and it starts to just be really aggressive and just like jumping on me. It bit me here, and then it bit me right here. And it was just holding on to my arm. And when you have a dog bite, you kind of are just paralyzed by the situation. Like, you're not really thinking, you're just kind of watching. So I was just kind of watching the dog bite me, and I was just like, oh my god. Because you know how you're trying to make a good impression, and you're keeping it cool, keeping it casual, especially when you meet someone for the first time. So you don't expect a traumatic thing to happen to you like that. And I wasn't expecting a traumatic thing to happen to me like that, obviously. So I was just like, oh wow, this dog's biting me, but like I wasn't saying anything, or like I was just like, oh, it's biting me.
Oh, it's biting me.
And then the dog, they like ripped its like jaws off of me, and then they took the dog away, and then they were like cleaning me off, and they were like, I'm so sorry this happened to you. And then that's when I started bawling and I started freaking out because I was just, I don't know, I was so tired from just being in my car for 7 days and doing that whole trip, and then just getting bit by a dog randomly was just also really weird and hard and traumatizing. And so I had to go to the hospital, and they just gave me a suture, and I'll show you what it looks like now. So my dog bite, this is actually from running, but it's right here. The suture clearly didn't work. And then I have scars right here, you can see. So it wasn't the most terrible bite, but it was still traumatizing. And yeah, after that situation, I still lived there because they said they were going to take the dog away. But then later on, they wanted the dog back in the house. Let me backtrack. So yeah, they had the dog out of the house for a while, for like 2 months or 1 month. Let's see, September, October. Okay, it was only like 2 months. And I remember like I got bit by the dog. So when you get bit by a dog or like an animal, you're very traumatized to animals and large dogs, in my case. And I remember they had slideshows of their dog that traumatized me, like on their, flat screen TV, and I'd be like, this is so awkward. And then, because it's like their baby, it's like puppy that they raised, so they love that dog. And then in that time span, I had another housemate come in, then that guy left, and then another housemate came in. And at that point, they were like, okay, we really want to bring this dog back. And I was like I thought I could handle it, but I was very uncomfortable with that because they said they would have like a trainer that would help the dog come back and be a law-abiding dog that didn't bite people. But yeah, so I thought I was okay with that, and all of them went outside. They had the dog with them, and they were like, okay, they scheduled a day for me to like go see the dog with the trainer with a muzzle on the dog's mouth. And then they were there, and then the housemate was there. But I was like, when that happened, I was having like a panic attack because I was so stressed out about seeing the dog again, because it had only been like 2 months after that happened. So it's just like all at once, like get bit by a dog, now you gotta be with it again, They got bit by the dog. 2 months later, they're like, okay, we want it back in the house. And I was like, okay. I was like, yeah, I think that's okay, because I thought like you can just get over things super quick, but no, that wasn't the case for me. Finally, after like panicking for like half an hour, I finally went outside with the dog, with the trainer, and I was super scared, but it wasn't so bad because it had a muzzle on it. And then they were like, okay, that was really good, and we're gonna keep having sessions so that way it can go back in the house. And then like a week later, they were like, okay, the dog's coming back in the house, but it will be in the kitchen, and we'll keep the door closed, and then just let us know when you need it open. Which I was just like, didn't you tell me you were gonna like slowly ease into it, not just like I would be thrown back in with the dog? And yeah, so they would be like, oh, just let us know. Dora's gonna be roaming around the kitchen, but just let us know when you need to go into the kitchen. And I just felt like I was the dog at that situation. I was like, I have to like make sure, I have to let people know when I'm going into the kitchen. Like, it just felt very weird, and I just kind of felt like overwhelmed with the whole situation, because when you're traumatized by something, to other people, they don't really understand, and they don't realize that it's very scary and it brings back bad memories for you. But it did for me, and it was uncomfortable, but they didn't see that, and maybe I didn't vocalize it enough. Anyway, so I was just like, this is so uncomfortable, and I just texted my mom about it, and that's when it started getting really weird. So I texted my mom that, they had the dog back, and my mom, being very protective, I didn't realize how she would react to what I told her, but she ended up calling or texting them, which I don't even remember giving her their number, but I think I had to for like insurance reasons and things of that nature, but she ended up texting them a law in California, or like the area we were in, that they were supposed to report the dog biting me, and they didn't. And my mom just, she goes full blown with things. So when she wants like justice, or like, I don't know, like when she's upset, she will like get something fixed. So yeah, she was just protecting me, but it caused a whole issue. So then I got a call from the guy who, it was his dog, and he was like, I wish you just told us that you were uncomfortable. And I was like, yeah, I just feel like a lot of anxiety over the situation because the dog bit me. I just have PTSD, I'm nervous. Like, that's what I said. And then they were like, honestly, we both take anti-anxiety pills and we don't need a third person with anxiety, which I was honestly very annoyed about, because I was like, I don't have anxiety, I'm just anxious about your dog. Like, your dog bit me 2 months ago. What was it, 2 months ago? And I was just not ready to get over that. Like, it took me a very long time, and I'm still not really over it. I'm still afraid of dogs. You don't really get over it very quickly once you've gotten bit by a dog. So yeah, they were just like bringing that whole anxiety piece to it, and I was just like really annoyed, because they were like, oh, we both take anti-anxiety, we don't need a third person in the house being anxious. So like, they're basically saying, like, you know, in a very, very kind way, basically like, it's you or the dog, and it's obviously the dog. But they just said, like, you know, no rush, but like, we want the dog back, and like, you know, you have to like either like basically like deal with it or move out. And at that point I was just so frustrated, and I felt so, there was too many people that were like, get over it, and I just couldn't get over it fast enough. And it was like me, the couple, and the guy who didn't get bit by the dog versus me. So I just felt like that was like something that I should have communicated better, and also I should have had more boundaries in that situation. But also I was just annoyed with the whole anxiety thing, because my other housemate that lived there before the other guy, he had anxiety, so he was on anxiety pills too. So it was like, you don't want 3 people with anxiety, but there was 3 people in the house with anxiety. I don't know. So anyway, that was my first living situation in the Bay Area, and I moved out within like 2 weeks after that. I found a new place. I was really desperate, and I took a lot of effort to find the place I'm at now, and it's been a lot better, a lot less stressful. Yeah, and those 2 people, they unfollowed me on Facebook, and I was just like, what? I still am friends with the 2 guys that I lived with there. They're really cool. But that situation was pretty awkward, and I definitely know, one, to not give my mom. I mean, my mom had my back, honestly, but I will not give my mom any property manager or landlord's number. And 2, I will be more thorough in my communication and my boundaries, and yeah. And also 3, I probably won't have someone that has a dog in their house. But just for context, that dog didn't like children. It was an adopted dog, so I think my cousin being there was the reason that the whole triggered dog situation even happened. But yeah, it's a weird situation. But that was my first living situation in the Bay Area in California. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my story time. I will have a lot more, because a lot of stuff goes down around here. Not really, but yeah. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next video. Bye!